Hello, welcome to Teach Me to Code. This is Dino Lopez. This time we will cover the creation of an easy Rails jukebox application. You might be wondering what's the difference between a simple relation between two models when you have an artist and albums. Well, this application will have a couple things special. One is going to be customized to use the permalink instead of IDs. This way you can browse your artists or albums based on a permalink or a name that you assign to it. Another feature is going to be the user of counter cache. Counter cache is going to let you keep track of how many albums are linked to a particular artist. And last but not least, we will make use of a blackjack, super hidden plugin by Eric Berry called Themes for Rails application. This actually changed very drastically, very easy and very quickly the look and feel of your Rails application. This is a fairly new plugin, but if we can have the contribution of developers like you, very soon we will see many options in our Rails application. So let's get started. Basic stuff at the beginning. Let's go ahead and create a Rails jukebox application using the database MySQL for this case. If I can spell this command right, here we go. There we go. We change to the jukebox folder. I have previously configured the database YAML, so we don't have to edit it. There it is. Let's create all databases. Even nice to see some feedback right here about the creation, but let's not worry about that. Maybe in the future version of Rails. What are we doing here? We're using the Rails scaffold generator to create an artist model that is going to have the name as a string and the permalink. Why not use the same one? Why not uppercase, lowercase? Well, some programmers might be developing Rails applications in a different language than English, and sometimes the characters might not be different. And we want to be playing nice with a search engine. We want to be search engine friendly, so that's the reason why I separate, but nothing prevents you to actually combine the two if that's your choice. And the last is the albums count, which is the counter cache. So basic generator, nothing fancy right there. Something similar is going to be required for the albums when we have our application here. Let's go ahead and copy this generator, script generator scaffold. Albums is going to be artists, which is reference based on the relationship. The title is going to be the title of the album, and the permalink is how we're going to be referring. Same thing, or similar thing as the previous. So one of the things we have to do here is make sure we play nice with the migrations, and this is, if we want to use the counter cache, our requirement is to make sure that the default albums count is a numeric value is 0. So let's go ahead and edit the artist, which there we go. We have to tell it the albums count is going to be an integer defaulted by 0. No albums for every time we create an artist. Another thing, since we want to be using permalinks, we have to create an index to make our application more efficient. On the artist table, we'll make the permalink an index. Good. Now, if that's the case for the artist, something similar needs to happen for the albums. However, the only thing we have to do for the albums is just make sure the albums has a permalink as an index. So let's edit the migration file. In this case, for the albums, we just need to create an index. Here we go. The album is going to have an index called permalink. That's it. Now, At this point, we're ready to run the migration. Let's go ahead and do it. Nice feedback about what is happening and creation of the indexes and everything we tell it to do. We want to remove the public index. That's going to be the default. And let's go ahead and configure routes. We need to make sure the root controller is going to be the artist. Here we go. That will do it. So, continuing with this, let's talk about the relationship between the models. Of course, the artist has many albums. Pretty standard Rails. And the albums, the albums belongs to artist, but we have to tell it to that is going to be using counter cache. This way it's going to look for the artist relationship back, and the counter cache is going to be able to update it automatically without us having to do something else. Everything handled by active record. That's pretty cool. So now let's continue on this. Let's go ahead and eliminate the new and edit fields for the albums count. This part, I want to just comment that you can feel free to delete it. I'm just going to show the concept right now. And the purpose of this, when it was created by the generator, was to enter some data, but since it's going to be handled by the counter cache behind the scenes, we really don't have to update it. So that's the only thing it's doing in those parts. Now let's introduce the concept. Since we're not using IDs, we want to be using the permalinks. We have to define as a parameters. So one of the things we want to do here is prepare our models to handle as a parameter the permalink, and that's going to happen in both models. So we tell them to be ready to handle the permalink. Now, something very interesting here in this application, we need to work with the controllers, because those want to be affected too. Typically they search by find command, they found some records. However, in this case we want to be using the permalink, so this method is going to change. Instead of define, it's going to be find by permalink. Here we go. I'm just doing this to show you exactly the difference. I could just edit the method, but Here we go. So we edited and we changed the find method by find by permalink in both models. Now something just for make it work nice. Let's go ahead and edit the albums new and edit. Basically what happens is when you create a new album, it's going to ask you to prompt for an artist. Well, the artist really should be a selector based on your current artist, so you don't have to retype everything. And the fact that it is telling you here the prompt true is just telling you that something needs to be entered, so nothing is predefined by default. Now for the other case, when you go to the edit, in the edit part, in the edit page, then the prompt is false, and that means it has to figure out what was the artist that you were selecting and eventually pre-selected for you. That's the reason why the prompt is false in this case. But let's go ahead and save this. So now something to play nice in a Rails application, some validations. Never can go wrong with those. Those will really should be part. Notice this basic screen cat is not covering testing yet, but that's something that you have to keep in mind. Testing as much as you can, probably, definitely, if you can, every single time, that'd be definitely the way to go. So just to play nice in terms of security, some basic validations like validates the presence of names, permalink, uniqueness of permalinks, and attribute accessible. Have a little error with attribute accessible in albums. I need to figure that out. I need to start looking, but you got the point. So something to modify the controllers and change the order. Let's go ahead and be application controllers albums. Let's go ahead and some sort and change the order, and something similar for the artist. So just alphabetically. The albums is going to return the object ID on the show, on the index and the show. So when you show the artist, it really should be the artist.name, which is going to retrieve the particular views album show. Let's see, probably just the index only. Quick navigation between the applications. Let's go ahead and let's see the artist. Let's add a little navigation here. Here we go. got it in the other part of the application. And let's add a little snippet of code here just to show the number of albums that there has a particular artist. This goes to the artist show. Here we go. So let's go ahead and start the server. See what this is doing. WebBreak is going to do his job. We have artists, albums. In artists, let's go ahead and create a new one real quick. Let's call it Hinder. Hinder rocks, by the way. Hinder. When you go to artists and go to the show action, look at the URL. It's artist/hinder. We can actually edit this hinder/edit. That's pretty cool. The permalink in this case is the same, just lowercase. That's what I was talking about. You can actually make some of those just the name in lowercase, but for some cases that you have extra characters, it's always nice to play good with the permalinks, with the search and be search engine friendly, so those crawlers be able to detect your content faster and better, more efficient. Let's go ahead and put another one, Nickelback. Here we go. Now on artists we have two. Notice that both has 0 albums. Let's go to the albums part of the application, and let's go ahead and select. See, this is the one. It was the collection select. This is the one it's not selecting. The collection select doesn't pick nothing. So let's say hinder, take it to the limit. Here we go. Oh, look at this. Look at the show on albums. The show. This is the one that has to be changed to albums.name. That's pretty easy. We'll refresh the page. Here we go. You see? So we have it right there. And if we go back to artist now, Hinder has 1 album. This was behind the scenes, and you don't have to run a select and sub-select or subquery selecting how many this has. The camera guys does a great job on that. And in albums, the show actions. Look at this. Look at the URL, albums/take it to the limit, which is the permalink. That's pretty cool. We don't have to deal with IDs. So let's finish the application. Let's spice up, basic Rails application, but still we want to make it look good. We want to make it look professional, and that's when this Eric Berry's plugin takes place. The site is on GitHub. Those themes called themes. So I encourage you to follow it. It's pretty straightforward, pretty easy to use. Just basically install and use the layout themes and the application controller. It's all it takes. So let's go ahead and do it in this application. Let's install the plugin themes, and the only thing we have to do on the application controller is pull. Here we go. That's all it takes. Now, because I'm using some layouts, notice that if you want to become a developer, you want to use the themes HTML ERB and the themes HTML HAML. So let's go ahead and move the let me go ahead and just leave those two, and so it's not going to use those applications. And let me fire up the web server. When we do that, let me just go ahead and refresh this page. Voila. Look at that. Using the default themes, and everything's fully functional, but it looks a lot better. Programmers, contributors, check out the themes plugin, contribute with your design, and if we have a couple hundred designs, create a little super easy to use Rails applications. Be awesome. The look and feel is going to increase. So I encourage you to check it out, contribute, and I think this will do it for now. Thanks for watching. This screencast is being recorded by Camtasia software. Thank you to Teach Me to Code, and a lot of success in this 2010. Thank you again. Bye-bye.
That was wonderful.
Bravo!
I loved that.
Oh, it was great.
Well, it was pretty good.
Well, it wasn't bad.
Well, there were parts of it that weren't very good, though.
It could have been a lot better.
I didn't really like it.
It was pretty terrible.
It was bad.
It was awful.
It was terrible.
Get him away!